Hey, I just wanted to make a quick video on the topic of chronic related illnesses in early childhood. It may be confusing that you may be, you like making funny faces? That you might be, if you're an adoptee, you experience stomach aches. I've had horrible digestive issues my entire life. Allergies were crazy. Just every couple weeks, just sick. I would get better, and then I'd get sick again. And this is going to be a reading out of Primal Wound, page 43. So the author Nancy Newton Verrier is adopted mother, and this book is great. But this is page 43. It said. Some kind of chronic illness as children, which often persisted into adulthood. These symptoms mentioned include stomach aches, chronic headaches, migraines, allergies or asthma, chronic fatigue. I've had that. I used to sleep 13, 14 hours a night, and people used to make fun of me, and I never knew where it was from until now. Eczema, hives, ticks, and stuttering. Bill, who suffered from allergies, developed an allergic reaction from something new each time he began to find relief with the use of antigens. Joanne had chronic diarrhea until age 20 when she began therapy. This was similar to the experience of Valerie, who had been troubled by asthma and stomach aches, who also found relief during the course of therapy. I had horrible asthma as well. I couldn't breathe. My mom actually was mad at me one time because I couldn't breathe and I couldn't get out of the car. She thought I was disobeying her and being lazy, but then she took me to the hospital and found out I barely could breathe. And these were directly related to adoption and relinquishment trauma, and I'll get to that right in these next few paragraphs. Stephanie had stomach aches and headaches as a child and also suffered from severe homesickness. The symptoms would be worse when she was away from her mother. She would become panicky and get that horrible feeling in your stomach, even from the short separations from her mother. She called her mother several times while on her honeymoon, yet she wasn't really able to talk with her when she was with her. I remember I went to soccer camp when I was little, and I'd be on the phone with my mom, like just checking in, and always had this feeling, this overwhelming feeling of just needing to be taken care of by my mom. And I never knew that stemmed directly from relinquishment trauma and abandonment at birth. But it makes so much sense once I came out of the fog and I realized that it wasn't all about being grateful, that I was mourning and grieving my biological mom. Everything made sense. All the internal feelings, that primal feeling, that whole huge sense of loss, it just made sense. And all my stomach issues, that homesick feeling when you were little, if you went to a friend's house and you're like, man, I just miss my mom, or miss my dad, I miss my home, I want to go home. And it's a stomach illness, but it's like magnified times 10. Like, I'm just speaking from my experience. My stomach illness was magnified by like 10 just from missing my biological mother. And I still have stomach issues to this day. Let's see. The most reported chronic somatic or physical disorder was stomach aches. This is true for me. This makes sense when one realizes the close association between gastrointestinal functioning and emotional states. These relationships have been noticed throughout history and are reflected in the folk language by expressions such as not being able to stomach something, noting that some situations make me sick, or being fed up, these are all in quotes, with a situation. All of these responses may be seen as a result of anxiety, an anxiety which for adoptees may be caused by the unconscious fear of another abandonment and the deprivation of food or nurturing. If a person is conscious of the nature of a dangerous situation, he reacts with fear and his gastric activity shuts down. That's true for me because I remember one day at one of my jobs, my stomach just stopped working And I went into the most painful period of my life, and the doctors literally made fun of me. They said it was anxiety. They said it was me having mental issues. And I was like, that's not it, man. That is not it. That is not it. Like, I knew something was horribly wrong, but nobody could get to the root of it. And this, for me, and what she's writing about in here, that she's studied adoption, this was my issue too. My stomach just completely stopped. And luckily it's like 70 to 80% better now. But now I know where it came from, and the root of it is relinquishment trauma. The next situation is, the next paragraph. He can respond to the danger by either fighting or fleeing, but if a person, like the adoptee, has no conscious memory of the source of that fear of abandonment, he may experience that fear as a free floating anxiety in which gastric activity works overtime. The resulting pain or illness is different from hypochondria. That's what my doctors thought of me. They were like, dude, this guy's crazy. Like, he just has like mental problems. Like, his stomach's like not working. And that's a terrible place to be when you're literally going to the doctor for a medical reason and they're like, yeah, you have mental problems. Like, no, fuck you. Sorry. And which the symptoms are imagined. These illnesses are real. I'm going to repeat. These illnesses are real, but the cause is psychological rather than organic. So it's real. We don't have memories of our abandonment at birth, but that doesn't mean that the abandonment emotions, the terror, the fear is still not inside of our emotions and stuck inside of our bodies. Literally, like, a baby is just like 1 second old and already realizes everything around them is terrifying. Their mother that carried them doesn't want them. They're taken away. And I can only imagine that baby inside of all of the adoptees, like, is just terrified and like needs to be fed and nurtured and taken care of. And then they're just like never being able to be with their biological mother again. It's really sad that people don't think that that's real. Anxiety. Yeah, that just goes on to talk about anxiety. Many adoptees have reported to me that they were told that they vomited a great deal during the early days of their adoptive families, suffered as stomach aches when they were toddlers, when they were separated from their adoptive mothers, stomach pains when they were separated from their spouses. It's really bad that it's so misunderstood that, like, still to this day, I'm told that adoption trauma is not real. Relinquishment trauma is not real. We can't remember it. I should be more grateful, which you should never tell a grieving human being that lost their parents and their family and much more, that they are not being thankful enough for their adopted family, because that's just like not helping in any way. It's not respectful. It's not understanding their experience. And it is not something you should ever say again, in my opinion. I am very grateful for my adopted family, but the things that they were unable to help me with because they were uneducated on all the trauma and loss involved, and even, I don't even want to go into the race issues. They did not understand race at all. It was something that was just prolonged. It doesn't mean that my problems went away just because of time. It has prolonged them and built like more and more of a wall that just goes up in me to trust people less. And my healing has been prolonged because of it. But I hope this video is helpful. If you're out there, adoptee with stomach aches, or your adopted child has stomach aches and allergies and all this crap, this might be the reason why. And that's the reason why I made this, was to help. I'm not trying to be negative, I'm trying to help identify, and we can't solve a problem that you don't know is there, don't believe is there. So that's why I'm talking about this stuff. It's written down. Primal Wound, great book. Highly suggest it. Hope you're having a good day. I will see you in the next video.